Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to Lamoni. We've got some Class 1A Region 6 first round softball matchup getting set to get underway. The postseason is set to get underway here for the softball season. Baseball kicked off on Saturday there with some district quarterfinals. Softball kicks off today with some regional first round matchups. Again, it's Sidney and Lamoni taking each other on here in this first round matchup here in Lamoni. We'll go ahead and set the starting lineups for Sidney, the away team here today. Alyssa Melvin, Ashlyn Hayes, and Gabby Jacobs. That's the 1-2-3 for the Cowgirls. Then Bridget Kreminga, Avery Buttercase, Alyssa Dowling, Kaylin Hale, Katie Glenn, and then Kiana Haggerty. They're wind up the rest of that order as well. There is a flex player, Cassandra Morgan, playing in right field for the Cowgirls. They're facing Casey McKillop this year in the circle for the Demons. As the first couple pitches are underway, McKillop has a 1-1 count on Melvin. Melvin hits this one foul out of play, and the count will move to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lamoni comes into this season with a record of, or the postseason, with a record of 5-14, 4-6 there in the Bluegrass Conference. As for Sidney, they come into the postseason with a record of 4-12 and a 3-7 conference record from the Corner Conference. McKillop's 1-2 pitch misses for a ball, and the count evens out at 2-2 for Alyssa Melvin, the shortstop. Melvin watches strike 3 go by, and McKillop gets her first strikeout of the evening there on the first batter. That's how the first one goes down here in the top of the first. Ashlyn Hayes, the third baseman, steps up to the plate now. Hayes watches ball one, go high, and moves the count 1-0. Both these teams ended the regular season not in the way that they really wanted to, on some slumps there. 5-game losing streak for both of these teams coming in to the postseason. One of them's bound to snap it here and move on to a regional quarterfinal matchup against Riverside. Hayes watches another ball go by. The count's now 2-1, by the way, for Ashlyn Hayes and Kaysen McKillop. Here's the 2-1. This one's hit on by Hayes. It'll get through the infield for a base hit. Ashlyn Hayes with the Cowgirls' first hit of the day. A single that just barely leaves the infield. And now Gabby Jacobs, the pitcher, steps up to the plate. Jacobs, the righty, set to face Kaysen McKillop for the first time tonight. McKillop's first pitch misses for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Gabby Jacobs has got 10 hits on the year, 455 average, 538 on base percentage, and a 500 slug. As she watches strike 1 go by, and the count evens out at 1-1. All 10 Hayes hits this year have been singles, Jacobs hits. 9 of her hits have been singles. She's got a double in there as well, and she's drove in 8 runs on the season. She watches another ball go by, and the count moves to 2-1. Jacobs swings on, misses. The count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here is the 2-2. High and away for ball 3, and the count will move to a full count. Here's the payoff pitch for McKillop and Jacobs. Swung on and missed, does Jacobs, and that's how the second one goes down. Second strikeout of the inning for Kaysen McKillop. Gets the Demons to 2 outs now here in the top of the first. Bridget Kreminga, the catcher, steps up to the plate. As the runner goes, Hayes will take second without a contest, and now a runner in scoring position for the Cowgirls, but they do still have 2 outs, so Kreminga will have to get on to score a run. The 1-0 to Kreminga, low for a ball, and the count moves to 2-0. The 2-0, it finds its way into the strike zone for the first strike here of this at-bat. Elsewhere here on the KMA airwaves, you can listen in to multiple different softball matchups as this one's hit right back to McKillop. I'll get to those in just a minute. McKillop can't field it cleanly, but the shortstop, Allison Martin, comes up to clean it up and get out number 3. A good heads-up play there by Martin, moving to get the ball fielded cleanly, make the throw over at first for out number 3. So we go to the bottom of the first, still scoreless in Lamoni. We'll be back on KMA Extreme at KMAland.com right after this.
Security, quiet, and convenient. If these are all the things you are looking for in your next living space, talk with us today. Forest Park Manor in Shenandoah offers updated one-bedroom income-based units for immediate move-in. Enjoy living in a residential area and not having to worry about any of the upkeep. All utilities are included in your rent, maintenance, and yard work too. If you're moving out on your own for the first time or looking for easy retirement living, call us today at 866-228-6257.
Your engine to power through the toughest conditions? Then you need John Deere Plus 52 engine oil. Built for extreme environments, Plus 52 gives your engine the protection it deserves and keeps it running at peak performance. Right now, you can save big at AgriVision Equipment. During the month of February, get 10% off select packaged oil and 15% off filters. It's the perfect time to stock up. Don't wait. This offer ends on 2/28/25. Stop by AgriVision Equipment or visit agrivisionequipment.com today.
Welcome back to Foreman Park here in Lamoni. Lamoni, Sidney set to battle for this Class 1A Region 6 first-round matchup. Lamoni able to get out of an inning there where Sidney put a runner in scoring position, allowing no runs, and now they'll set to bat for the first time here tonight. The 1-2-3 due up, Kason McKillop, Lauren Olson, and Allison Martin. McKillop not only in the circle tonight for the Demons, she's also the leadoff hitter as well. They'll be facing Gabby Jacobs in the circle of Sidney, and we'll get some stats pulled up for her here in just a minute. As Jacobs hits the strike zone on her first pitch. This one is hit on by McKillop. It'll get through down the third baseline for a base hit. McKillop will round one, head two, and slide underneath the tag for the double. A leadoff double for the Demons to start things off here in this Class 1A regional first-round matchup. By the way, Gabby Jacobs on the season. She's got a 2-1 record in 5 games pitched, a 6.24 ERA, 7 strikeouts in 12 innings that she's thrown. Lauren Olson, the first baseman, steps up to the plate for the Demons. She watches ball one go by. Olson, 23 hits on the year, 18 of those being singles. She's got a .383 average, a .439 on base percentage. As she watches strike one go by, and the count evens up at 1-1. Olson also has drove in 11 runs this year for the Demons. She takes a big chop at one, can't make contact. It does get away from catcher Bridget Kreminga, and that'll move McKillop from second over to third. So with the Demons with a base closer to scoring a run here in the bottom of the first. Here's Jacobs' 1-2 pitch. It's hit on. It goes to the shortstop, Alyssa Melvin, who can't make the play at first, and a score will come across for the Demons. Their first of the game. Kason McKillop gets in after the leadoff double and then getting hit in by Lauren Olson. Allison Martins, the shortstop, steps up to the plate for the first time today. By the way, today's stream is brought to you by Low Rent Properties of Southwest Iowa. Jacobs up in the count 0-1. This one hit on, contact made there by Martin. It'll go foul out of play into the bleachers. And the count will now go to 0-2. As Lamoni working with a 1-0 lead early and no outs. The 0-2, this one's hit on. It'll go foul down the third baseline by Martin, and she'll remain at 0-2 here at the plate. Allison Martin, 24 hits on the year. A .444 average, .544 on base percentage. She's got a .944 slugger on the year as well. She drove in a team-leading 27 RBIs. This one she hits on deep into left field. It will drop for a base hit. Martins will round first and head two, while Olsen rounds three, heads home. Lauren Olsen will score a run. Martins will head to three, slide underneath the tag, and make it to third there on the fielder's choice, but a double with an RBI there for Allison Martin. And that gets Lamoni up to a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. Still no outs. Olsen gets in there on the double. Martin, able to move all the way to third. And now Halen Olsen, the catcher, steps up to the plate. Olsen watches ball one go by for the 1-0 count. Halen Olsen, 23 hits on the year, 397 average, 462 on base percentage. Jacob's second pitch is over the head of Olsen, and it goes to 2-0. This one hit on by Halen Olsen. It'll go foul, out of play. Nice pop to it. But she's just in front of it as she takes it over the fence along the third baseline. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. This one's hit on, foul directly back, and Jacobs able to even the count out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here is the 2-2. Swung on a miss by Olsen. It is a drop third strike situation, so Kreminga picks it up, makes the throw at first for out number 1. But it does drive in Carly Brown there. Or excuse me, it does drive in Allison Martin as Carly Brown, the second baseman, now steps up to the plate. Carly Brown, the second baseman, down in the count 0-1 early. Brown, 17 hits on the year, 288 average, 338 on base percentage. She's got 8 RBIs as well. She goes down on another strike, and the count moves to 0-2. Gabby Jacobs able to get up on the count early on Carly Brown. The bases are cleared after Lamoni scored 3 here in the bottom of the first. Here is the 0-2. It's inside, a little high as well for a ball, and the count will move to 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Jacobs to Brown. This one hit on hard by Brown. It'll find the gap in between third and short. Carly Brown will end up on first with a base hit on a single with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Nora Potter, the left fielder, now gets set for her first at-bat of the day. Potter, 22 hits, 10 RBI, a 423 average, 492 on base percentage. This is a Demon team, by the way, that hits 345 on the year and gets on base 421% of the time. Here's the 1-0. This one's swung on by Potter, but gets away there from the catcher, Kreminga. So Carly Brown will move from first to second on the pass ball, putting another runner in scoring position for the Demons. The 1-1 misses the strike zone for a ball, and the count goes to 2-1. 2-1 pitch is way high, a little inside for ball 3, and now a hitter's count due up for Nora Potter, the left fielder of Lamoni. The 3-1 inside for a ball, and Nora Potter will take first on a walk. Putting two runners on now for the Demons. First and second is Karis Brown, the center fielder. Twin sister of Carly Brown over on second, steps up to the plate. Karis Brown watches strike one go by for the 0-1 count. Brown, a 218 average, 295 on base percentage. She's drove in 16 runs this year on 12 hits. She watches ball 1 go by, and the count evens up at 1-1. Here is the 1-1. This one, an off-speed pitch there by Jacobs. Brown able to make contact, foul it off, and the count will move to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. This one way high for a ball, and the count will even up at 2-2. This one hit on, it'll go foul down the third baseline, so the count will stay at 2-2. One thing to note, by the way, for Sidney, Mackenzie Thatcher, a star player for the Cowgirls, not in the roster lineup today for the Cowgirls. Thatcher had spent the most time in the circle there for Sidney with 18 innings pitched. This one's hit on by Karis Brown. It goes directly back to the pitcher, Gabby Jacobs, who gets the out over at third on Carly Brown, but that'll move Karis Brown on first with the fielder's choice. Nora Potter moves over to second, and like I said, Carly Brown out at third for the second out of the inning. As contact is made there by Natalie Howell, gets through the legs there of third baseman Ashlyn Hayes. A run will score for the Demons. As Nora Potter gets in, Karis Browns moves over to second, and Natalie Howell ends up on first. Lily Katzman, the right fielder, steps up to the plate for the first time. Katzman, the 9-hitter for the Demons. They're already looking to hit through their lineup once here in the bottom of the first. The 1-0, Katzman takes a swing at a high pitch. The count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Katzman fouls one off, and the count moves to 1-2. One thing to note, this is Lily Katzman's just her 4th at-bat on the season here for the Demons. Here's the 1-2. Katzman swings on, misses at a low pitch for the strikeout, and that's how the inning will close. But not before Lamoni is able to play bat all the way through their first 9 batters. We go to the top of the second, 4-0. Lamoni leads it. We'll be back on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com right after this.
You dream about living in the country? Make your dream a reality with specialized lending from Rural First. Whether you want an acreage to build your dream home or a wide open space for your kids to play, Rural First has the financing to get you closer to what matters. Visit ruralfirst.com. NMLS IDs 407249, 579135, and 628123. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to eligibility and approval.
Seeing is believing. That's what you'll hear from customers that choose Barrett Auto Center of Glenwood time and time again. Barrett customers come in for vehicles and service work, but they come back for conversation and honest advice. They want one of the largest pre-owned and fully serviced inventories in KMA land, and they return when they've gone elsewhere and it just isn't the same. See and believe for yourself how little differences add up to a better car buying experience. Come back to Barrett's and Barrett'sAutoCenter.com.
Welcome back into Lamoni. We're set to begin things here in the top of the second. Lamoni has a 4-0 lead over Sidney here as Sidney set to bat their 5, 6, 7 hitters. Avery Buttercase, Alyssa Dowling, and Kaylin Hale all up for the Cowgirls here in this inning. And then if anybody gets on, Katie Glenn, the designated player, will step up to the plate. Avery Buttercase, the second baseman, at the plate for the first time tonight. She's got a 1-2 count on her. This one she hits directly to the second baseman, Carly Brown, who makes the throw in a large stretch there by first baseman Lauren Olson. leads to the out there by the Demons. The first out here at the top of the second. A nice stretch there by first baseman Lauren Olson. Really had to reach out for it and made the grab for out number 1. Alyssa Dowling, the first baseman, steps up to the plate. Dowling has got a 150 average, a 393 on-base percentage on the season. She's found herself down 0-2 in the count early against Kaysen McKillop, excuse me. No balls, 2 strikes. This one hit on by Dowling, or to go foul. So the count will remain at 0-2. The 0-2 is misses for a ball, gets away from catcher Halen Olson there for a second, but no harm done as nobody's on. By the way, these teams have only met once prior to this year, according to all of Varsity Bound's records, as Dowling hits another one foul and the count stays at 1-2. That was back in 2018. Sidney won a 14-1 matchup against Lamoni. Again, way back in 2018, the only time that these two teams have met in the Varsity Bound era. As the 1-2 is hit on by Dowling, it goes to first baseman Lauren Olson, who fields it cleanly, steps on the bag for out number 2. And just like that, the Cowgirls already working with 2 outs here in the top of the second. Kaylin Hale, the left fielder, steps up to the plate, the 7-hitter for the Cowgirls. Hale swings on, can't make contact. The count goes to 0-2. Or 0-1, excuse me. That was the first pitch of the at-bat. Hale, an on-base percentage of 200 this season. She watches ball 1 go by. The count moves to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here for the Cowgirls. The pitch is high and away for a ball, and the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. As Kaysen McKillop and the Lamoni defense trying to get out of here in a 1-2-3 situation. Hale hits one foul out of play, and the count will move to 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes is the count. 2 outs for the Demons. This one swung on a miss by Hale. She goes down on strikes. McKillop's 3rd strikeout of the evening. As we go to the bottom of the second, Lamoni leads it 4-0 here from Lamoni. We'll be back on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com right after this.
Reliable internet matters to you, and it matters to FMTC too. So what does reliable look like? At FMTC, reliable means 99% uptime. And if there's a problem, we measure resolution in minutes, not hours or days. You need bandwidth, and FMTC has it. Up to 1 gig. Our fiber internet offers equal download and upload speeds, in addition to being unlimited and reliable. FMTC Fiber, internet worth talking about.
Sure what you want to do with your life? Feel like your job is at a standstill? Get your foot in the door with area manufacturing companies at Iowa Western Community College's SEAM program. Sign up now in the Center of Excellence for Advanced Manufacturing through IWCC. Classes are just 2 early evenings a week with holidays and summers off. Improve your current skills and learn new ones that will give you a new career or even enhance your current one. For more information on SEAM, contact IWCC's Clarinda Center at 712-542-5117.
Welcome back here into Lamoni. Looks like Sidney is going to be turning things to a new pitcher in the circle as things keep going here in this Class 1A first-round regional matchup. Ashlyn Hayes is the name now in the circle for the Cowgirls. Hayes has pitched in 7 different games this season, just 1 start at an 0-1 record. She's pitched in 10 different innings. In those 10 innings, she's got an ERA of 16.26 and got 4 strikeouts on the year as she gets set to finish out was looking to be, unless they throw somebody else, because other than Mackenzie Thatcher, that's the only 3 pitchers in the Sidney lineup that have seen time in the circle this season. So Ashlyn Hayes, the new pitcher in. This one is hit on by Kaysen McKillop hard into left field. McKillop, the leadoff hitter, wastes no time. She rounds first and heads 2, and she will hold up at 2. A leadoff double by Kaysen McKillop, takes one deep into left field right away to lead the Demons here in the bottom of the second. Lauren Olson, the first baseman, steps up to the plate. Olson got on with an error there in her last at-bat. Got around, scored a run. Error also scored Kaysen McKillop for the first run of the game in the last inning. Hayes, first pitch floats in, misses the strike zone for the 1-0 count. This one is hit on. It goes to third baseman now third baseman Gabby Jacobs, who can't make the play at first. That'll go down as an infield hit for Lauren Olson. And now Allison Martins, the shortstop, steps up to the plate. Martins there in the last inning. Had an RBI double. She's got runners on the corners as Olson takes off. We'll get there uncontested. Again, McKillop's over on third now, by the way, as well, after the Olson infield hit. As Hayes finds the strike zone on Martins to move the count to 1-1. By the way, in case you're wondering, Gabby Jacobs, who was in the circle there in the last inning, she moved over to third base for the Cowgirls, and Hayes was on third, moved to the circle. 2 balls, 1 strike is the count. Here's the pitch. The 2-1 floats in across the plate, but misses for a ball, and the count goes to 3-1. A hitter's count for Allison Martins, the shortstop. Here is the 3-1. This one hit on by Martins into center field. Kiana Haggerty can't track it down. It'll drop. And another run will get across for the Demons. A 5-0 lead for them now, as Haggerty can't hold on to it there in center field. McKillop gets in for the score. Olson moves over to third. Martins ends up on second. Halen Olson, the catcher, steps up to the plate. Olson has struck out twice so far in this one. Or once, in this one. Olson, though, makes contact. It'll get through for a base hit. Halen Olson drives in a run and an RBI single. And the Demons are just putting it down right now early. A 6-0 lead, and then a throwing error by Sidney. Olson got in. Martins must have also gotten in, and then Olson moved all the way to third there. And a 7-0 Lamoni lead, as this one is hit on by Carly Brown. Shortstop Alyssa Melvin does make the play at first, but Brown drives in Olson for a run. A sacrifice ground out for Carly Brown gives the Demons an 8-0 lead here in the bottom of the second with 1 out. Nora Potter hits one on. It'll be grabbed by the first baseman, Alyssa Dowling, who reaches her gloves out, makes a nice snag for out number 2. Karis Brown, the center fielder, at the plate. Karis reached on a fielder's choice there in her first at-bat as she watches ball 2 go across for the 2-0 count on Ashlyn Hayes. The 2-0 misses for a ball, and a 3-0 count now for Karis Brown. I'm going to imagine with 3 balls, no strikes, you get the red light and won't swing. But we'll see. Here's the 3-0. It is not in there for a ball, and the count goes to 4-0. Karis Brown will take first on the walk. And that puts another base runner on for Lamoni here in the bottom of the second, who's already extended their lead 8-0 over Sidney. Natalie Howell, the third baseman, steps up to the plate. Howell reached on an error there in her last at-bat. This one's hit on. It'll get through for a base hit. Howell will have a single that puts runners on first and second now for the Demons as Karis Brown moves over to second. And Lily Katzman, the right fielder, steps up to the plate. Katzman, the 9-hitter, already going for a second time here at the plate. As Lily Katzman hits this one on, it goes to third baseman Gabby Jacobs, who does make the play at first, tosses it across the diamond for out number 3. That's how the inning comes to a close, but Lamoni is able to extend their lead all the way up to 8-0. They're looking to put this one away as quickly as they possibly can and get on to the next round here in the playoffs as they have an 8-0 lead early. Sidney's going to have to do something big at this next at-bat. At their next plate, they will be set to bat. The 8-9-1 hitters, Katie Glenn, Kiana Haggerty, Alyssa Melvin. We'll be back on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com right after this.
Engine to power through the toughest conditions? Then you need John Deere Plus 52 engine oil. Built for extreme environments, Plus 52 gives your engine the protection it deserves and keeps it running at peak performance. Right now, you can save big at AgriVision Equipment. During the month of February, get 10% off select packaged oil and 15% off filters. It's the perfect time to stock up. Don't wait. This offer ends on 2/28/25. Stop by AgriVision Equipment or visit agrivisionequipment.com today.
Forest Park Manor in Shenandoah still has a few remaining one-bedroom, updated, income-based living units available for immediate move-in, just in time for the spring and summer months. You haven't met worry-free living until you make the move to our 5-story building in the heart of Shenandoah. All utilities are included in your rent, and all maintenance and yard work too. If you're moving out on your own for the first time or looking for easy retirement living, call us today for an application at 866-228-6257.
Welcome back here into Lamoni. Lamoni has a 8-0 lead over Sidney here as we get set to go to the top of the third. The 8-9-1 hitters due up for Sidney here in this one. Katie Glenn, the designated player, Kiana Haggerty, the center fielder, and then Alyssa Melvin, the shortstop, all due up here in this inning. And then if anybody gets on, Ashlyn Hayes, the third baseman, will come up to the plate. Katie Glenn, the designated player, takes a swing at one. Can't make contact. It goes down in the count 0-1 early to Kaysen McKillop. McKillop's 0-1, misses high for a ball, and the count goes to 1-1, excuse me. Like I mentioned it earlier, the winner of this matchup moves on to Riverside. That game will be played in Riverside for against the Bulldogs. State-rated 21-3 team out of the Western Iowa Conference. As the 1-2, this one's hit on foul by Glenn, and the count will stay at 1-2. Elsewhere as well here in this region, taking a look at some of the other games going on here in the first round, Mount Ayr and Essex going on over in Mount Ayr. Also down in the bottom half of this region, the first round matchups, Lennox and East Mills going on over at Lennox, and then East Union and Stanton. That game is happening in Afton as Katie Glenn goes down on strikes here to start the top of the third, the first out for the Demons here in the top of the third. Kiana Haggerty, the bottom of the order, steps up to the plate for the Cowgirls. The 9-hitter looks to lay down a bunt. She pops one directly back, and it'll go foul, but will drop for another chance here in this at-bat. I also was getting ready to mention earlier some matchups going across on the KMA airwaves. Some other games you can listen to, that Stanton and East Union matchup. Trevor Mader's on the call of that one. East Mills at Lennox. That game is also being streamed by KMA. That one's there by Ryan Matheny. And then Tri-Center at St. Albert. You can listen in to that one with Dusty Scahill. That's all the matchups on the KMA airwaves here tonight. Multiple other matchups going across the state of Iowa here as the first round of the postseason. Softball begins today. Lamoni up at 8-0 here in the first round over Sidney. Haggerty finds herself down on the count, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's low and inside for a ball, and the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. One thing Sidney's going to need to get going here is base runners. They've had 1 base runner so far. Ashlyn Hayes had a single there in the first inning. They've found themselves in a big deficit early. They got to get out of it as quickly as they possibly can, and base runners are the best way to do so. Haggerty watches ball 3 go by, and now a full count for Kaysen McKillop, Kiana Haggerty. And this could be big for Sidney here, is if your 9-hitter can get on with a walk, you turn it to the top of your order with 1 out, and Haggerty does just that. She watches ball 4 go by, gets on first with a full count walk. Sidney turns it to the top of their order with a base runner here and 1 out. Alyssa Melvin, the shortstop, steps up to the plate. Melvin did strike out there in her first at-bat. Back in the top of the first as a pass ball gets away from catcher Halen Olson. It'll move Haggerty from first over to second. So Sidney now with a runner in scoring position. This is the first time. Actually, Ashlyn Hayes was stranded on second, so this is the second time the Cowgirls have had a runner in scoring position and just their 2 base runners. This one's hit on directly to shortstop Allison Martin. Martin makes the throw over at first, makes a good play. Or actually, no, it's some speed there on the bases from Alyssa Melvin. She's able to run out the throw, putting runners on first and second. That kind of helped, as well as Haggerty stepped off a second. Maybe he made Martin hesitate a little bit, look over, chase Haggerty back. But it does allow Melvin to end up on first. And now a pass ball gets away from Halen Olson. Now Sidney will threaten a little bit more with 2 runners in scoring position on second and third. Haggerty moves over to third, Melvin over to second. As Ashlyn Hayes, the third baseman who had that single back in the first, is at the plate now with a 1-0 count. The pitch is low and outside for a ball, and the count goes to 2-0. The 2-0 pitch by McKillop, high for a ball, and the count goes to 3-0, which, by the way, I don't know if we ever did take a look at Kaysen McKillop, the freshman, what she's been doing in the circle this year for the Demons. She's pitched in 14 different games there for Lamoni, a 3-10 record, as the ball gets away from Halen Olson, and Halen Olson will chase Haggerty all the way back to third. Haggerty able to slide underneath the tag, get back in time. Haggerty thought about taking off there. Olson was able to just track it down behind the plate as quickly as she possibly could, got the softball and made the throw over to third. But like I said, Haggerty able to get back in time, sliding underneath the tag, and runners will stay. Actually, that loads the bases as Ashlyn Hayes takes first on the walk. Gabby Jacobs, the pitcher, steps up to the plate. Like I was saying, Kaysen McKillop on the year, 14 games pitched. She's allowed an ERA of 5.74. In the 72 innings she's pitched, she's had 68 strikeouts, so a very good pitcher here in McKillop at the circle. As this one's hit on by Jacobs, it'll drop as the shortstop Allison Martin just tosses it over to second, gets Ashlyn Hayes out over on second. But Gabby Jacobs will make it to first on the fielder's choice, and a run comes in for the Cowgirls as Haggerty gets in on the fielder's choice. Melvin will move over to third. Again, Hayes out over on second, and Jacobs now on first as the fielding umpire, Rick Pace, having a quick conversation with somebody. I think he was talking about, maybe they were talking about the So Ashlyn Hayes is coming back out to second. They're going to call her safe, but also I'm not exactly sure what was just ruled there. That was Okay. All right, so the ball was caught there by the shortstop, Allison Martin. I missed the play, must have completely missed it. Allison Martin was able to hold on to it, make the grab there at the shortstop position. So that'll be Gabby Jacobs getting out, but Haggerty still tagged up and must have came in for the score. And now a pass ball by Halen Olsen. This will score Alyssa Melvin, who gets in on the pass ball. So 2 runs scored now for Sidney here in the top of the third. As, by the way, Ashlyn Hayes was able to move over to third there on the pass ball. Bridget Kreminga at the plate. She grounded out to short there in her last at-bat. She finds herself down in the count 1-2 here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kreminga takes a swing at one, can't make contact, and that's how the inning comes to an end as McKillop gets out of it with a strikeout, but not before Sidney's able to plate a couple runs. They get 2 of their own here to make this lead 8-2 for Lamoni as we go to the bottom of the third. We'll be back on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com right after this.
You dream about living in the country? Make your dream a reality with specialized lending from Rural First. Whether you want an acreage to build your dream home or a wide open space for your kids to play, Rural First has the financing to get you closer to what matters. Visit ruralfirst.com. NMLS IDs 407249, 579135, and 628123. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to eligibility and approval.
Dog Salvage in Bartlett is no stranger to the ups and downs of owning and operating a small business. But no matter how much changes on their end, there's one thing that will always stay the same for their customers. It's cash. Call for the best scrap metal prices in the area and go ahead and test their unloading times. Then, when all is said and done, that's right, leave with cash. J-Dog Salvage, Bartlett, Iowa, 402-290-3124. That's 402-290-3124.
Welcome back here into Lamoni. Lamoni holds an 8-2 lead over Sidney as they get set to bat their number 1 leadoff hitter here again for the 3rd time tonight in just 3 innings. The Demons have been able to work through the lineup both times there in the 1st and 2nd, and Kaysen McKillop has been the leadoff hitter in all 3 innings we've seen tonight, as McKillop in this one has 2 doubles, 2 runs scored as well, and has been a big bat for the Demons here so far as they hold an 8-2 lead. McKillop watches ball 1 go by. Here's the 1-0. It's low in the dirt for ball 2 as the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. This one is hit on, crushed there by McKillop, but just kidding, it goes out of the glove there of Kaylin Hale. Hale had to make a jump for it, couldn't make the grab, and now McKillop will round 2, head all the way to 3. That was a tough play there for Kaylin Hale to make. She had to jump up, try and extend her arm all the way, and wasn't able to make the grab in left field as McKillop now ends up on 3rd. Lauren Olsen, the first baseman, steps up to the plate. Olsen got on with an error there in her first at-bat, then singled in her second. This one's going to drop in left field for a base hit as well. An RBI double for Lauren Olsen as the Demons now extend their lead 9-2 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Allison Martins, the shortstop, steps up to the plate. Martins had a double there in her last at-bat, or in her first at-bat that drove in a run, and then had an error there in her last at-bat that put her on, and she was able to get around and score a run as well. There's a quick conversation between the home plate umpire and the fielding umpire. Let's see what this is. I'm not exactly sure what that was about. Sidney co-head coach Aaron Lang stepped out of the dugout to say something to the home plate umpire, and I don't know what he was arguing there, but nothing changes as Allison Martins, the shortstop, at the plate, watches a strike go by, and it goes down in the count 0-1. Here is the 0-1 pitch. It's low and away for a ball. Low and inside, for a ball. As the ball gets away there from catcher Bridget Kreminga, Olsen will move from second to third. Lamoni still being aggressive along the base paths. As the 1-1 is inside for a ball, and the count goes to 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs for the Demons. Here's the 2-1. It's low for a ball. And the count moves to 3-1. A hitter's count now for Allison Martin, who has a runner in scoring position over at third. And no outs. This one's crushed by Martin. It'll drop in the left field for a base hit. A run scores. Martin rounds first, heads 2. A stand-up double there for shortstop Allison Martin as she drives in a run as well, extending the lead now 10-2 for Lamoni. The Demons continuing to crush the ball there at the plate, showing a lot of power through the first 3 innings. The first pitch into Halen Olsen, the catcher, misses for a ball. It goes to 1-0. Martin's over on first. As the second pitch is low as well for ball 2. The count goes to 2-0. The ball gets away there from Kreminga behind the plate. It'll move Olsen from second to third, put a runner another base closer to getting a score in for Lamoni, as they already have a 10-2 lead. Halen Olsen, 3-0. Watches ball, strike 1, go by. As on the 3-1, ball 4 is thrown. Halen Olsen takes first on the walk. Carly Brown, the second baseman, steps up to the plate. Brown there in her last at-bat. Grounded out, but it was a sacrifice ground out, and now Sidney looks like they're going to change pitchers up around here, and they're going to turn it back to Gabby Jacobs, who was at third. Jacobs will now come in, head over to the circle, and Hayes will step out. Hayes pitched that entire second inning and then pitched through a couple batters here in the bottom of the third. We'll let Jacobs go ahead and get warmed up. Actually, never mind. It looks like they're ready to get going, as Jacobs already did throw earlier today, so I guess she doesn't really need that much of a warm-up. She's ready to go here for Carly Brown, the second baseman. As the first pitch from Jacobs misses for a ball. It'll also move Olsen from first, over to second, putting 2 runners in scoring position now for the Demons at second and third. Here's the 1-0. This one's hit on by Carly Brown. It'll get through by shortstop Alyssa Melvin for a base hit. Carly Brown will end up on second. A bases clearing double. 2 RBIs drove in there for the second baseman, and now Lamoni extends its lead 12-2 here in the bottom of the third. Some updates on some games in other regions around the area. Stanton up 8-3 right now over East Union. That game going on in East Union. So the away team, Stanton, making their presence known, as this one is hit on by Nora Potter, the left fielder. It goes directly, to Ashlyn Hayes, who stepped on third, but there was no force out at third, so nothing really happens as Nora Potter ends up on first. Karis Brown steps up to the plate. Carly Brown holds up at second, by the way, both the runners take off. They move from first and second to second and third. Carly Brown now over on third. Nora Potter on second. As there's been 4 runs batted in here for the Demons in the bottom of the third. Almost another error there from Sidney on the way. Throwing it back to Jacobs in the circle. Almost lost it there for a second. Got away from her, but Avery Buttercase, the second baseman, backs her up. This one is hit on foul. It'll go foul down the third baseline by Karis Brown. Also, in this region, Lennox and East Mills going on. An update on that game is East Mills is getting beat right now 11-2 by Lennox over in Lennox. So the Tigers up to a comfortable lead. Here, this one, the Demons up on a comfortable lead on Sidney, and then Stanton as well up comfortably over in East Union. The battle between Jacobs and Karis Brown continues as it's now a full count between these two. Here's the full count pitch. This one hit on by Brown. It'll drop in left field for a base hit. One run will score for the Demons. A single there for Karis Brown, an RBI single as well as Carly Brown, that is, her twin sister, gets in on the single, and 13-12, Lamoni leads it here with no outs in the bottom of the third. Natalie Howell, the third baseman, steps up to the plate for the third time today. Howell has gotten on with a single and an error, as Karis Brown will take second without any contest. Putting, again, runners on second and third, 2 runners in scoring position for the Demons. Here's the pitch to Howell. Howell hits this one on. It goes to third baseman Ashlyn Hayes, who doesn't make the play at first. An infield single there for Natalie Howell, puts a runner across as Nora Potter comes across. Karis Brown moves over to third. And again, Howell safe on first with the RBI infield single. And Lily Katzman, the right fielder, steps up to the plate for the third time today. Again, Lamoni batting all the way through its order yet again here in another inning in the bottom of the third. Katzman down in the count, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed, and the count moves to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Runners on third and first. As this one's hit on by Katzman, it will go to shortstop, Alyssa Melvin, who makes the throw over to first. Gets Katzman out at first, but Lily Katzman drives in a run. Karis Brown gets in. So an RBI ground out there for Lily Katzman. On the 6-3 putout is Natalie Howell also moves her way over to second. Kaysen McKillop, stepping up to the plate for the second time here in this inning, the 4th time tonight. McKillop, by my book, 2 doubles and a triple, 3 runs scored for the Demons. She has been a part of a powerful top half of the lineup. I mean, 1 through 5 right now have been absolutely blowing the ball away. As this one's hit on by McKillop for a base hit, it'll land in left and then go underneath the legs of left fieldman Kaylin Hale. A run will score. I think it's a single with an RBI, but the error moves Kaysen McKillop over to second. Lauren Olson, the first baseman, at the plate. Olson hits this one to shortstop, Alyssa Melvin. Melvin makes the throw over to first for out number 2. So a 6-3 put out there for Lauren Olson, and now Allison Martin, the shortstop, steps up to the plate. Martin, 2 doubles under her name, 2 RBIs as well. She scored 3 runs for Lamoni. This one she hits on foul down the third baseline. That was a hard hit ball, by the way, there by Martin. It would have went quite a ways if it would have stayed in play. So Martin finds herself down 0-1 in the count. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's low and away for a ball, and the count evens up at 1-1. Lamoni, again, leads it 16-2 here in the bottom of the third. 2 outs for the Demons. This one's hit on. It'll go to shortstop, Alyssa Melvin. Melvin tries to make the throw across the field. Can't do so in time as Allison Martin runs it out. A run gets across. Kaysen McKillop scores there for the Demons, extending their lead now 17-2 here in the bottom of the third. This one is hit on by Hallen Olsen, It goes foul down the third baseline. The count goes to 0-1. This one's hit on into left. It will drop for a base hit in the left field corner just next to the line, and Allison Martin moves all the way to third. A double there for Hallen Olsen. As Carly Brown, the second baseman, steps up to the plate for the second time here in this inning, 4th time tonight. Brown hits this one foul. It goes into the stands, and the count goes to 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. This one's hit on by Brown. It'll get in between shortstop and third. A run will score, an RBI single for Carly Brown as the inning continues here for Lamoni. They lead it 18-2 here in the bottom of the third. Allison Martin got in for the score. Olsen moved over to third. Puts runners on the corners for Lamoni here in the bottom of the third, excuse me. This one hit on. It will drop in the outfield for a base hit by Nora Potter. A run gets in, an RBI single for left fielder Nora Potter. As Hallen Olsen gets in for the score. Carly Brown over on second. Carly Brown over on second. Karis Brown at the plate now. Brown watches a strike go by, and the count evens up at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed by Karis Brown. The count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs for the Demons here as they lead at 19-2. Karis Brown swings on it, misses a drop third strike situation as Kreminga couldn't hold on to it. Karis Brown trying to outrun the throw, can't do so. And that's how the inning will end. It comes to a close with a strikeout there from Gabby Jacobs. We turn to the top of the 4th, where Lamoni leads at 19-2. We'll be back on the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com right after this.
Ready to grow your future with a bank that truly cares? Welcome to Malvern Bank, where we're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your partners in success. At Malvern Bank, we specialize in ag loans that help our local farmers thrive. Whether you're planting seeds for the future or expanding your current operations, we've got the financing solutions to help your farm flourish. So why wait? Visit us today and see how Malvern Bank can make a difference in your life. Together, let's grow our future. Malvern Bank, we build community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Nutrient Ag Solutions takes the responsibility of growing seriously. As a leader in the ag sector, they provide their customers with complete agriculture solutions, including nutrients, crop protection products, seed, service, and digital tools for optimum customer success. Talk with Nutrient Ag Solutions in Westboro, Coyne, Percival, and Essex. Nutrient Ag Solutions, transforming agriculture and feeding the future.
Welcome back here into Lamoni. If you're just joining us, Lamoni Gets up to a 19-2 lead here as we get set for the top of the fourth. The batters for Lamoni have just been cruising through the order there, as this one is hit on by Avery Buttercase of Sidney. She will end up on first, round first, head two. Buttercase with a leadoff double to start things off for the Cowgirls here in the top of the fourth. And they are going to have a massive inning right now to get back into this one. Alyssa Dowling, the first baseman, steps up to the plate. Dowling grounded out to short there in her first at-bat. As Dowling finds herself down 0-1 in the count. By the way, a beautiful little complex here in Lamoni. Foreman City Park has got a pool behind the softball field here. The baseball field right behind us, as well as a couple other fields scattered around, and a park nearby. A beautiful little complex here in Lamoni, Iowa. A pass ball gets by Avery Buttercase, moves from second to third, by the way. So a runner in scoring position over on third for the Cowgirls. If anyone can batter in, Sidney can score some much-needed runs, at least one much-needed run. As this one is popped up by Dowling, it won't leave the infield. Pitcher Kaysen McKillop runs up, makes the catch for out number one. And that's how the first one goes down here in the top of the fourth. Kaylin Hale, the left fielder, steps up to the plate for the second time tonight. Hale, back in the second inning, struck out one of McKillop's 4 strikeout victims. This one, the first pitch by McKillop, gets by for a strike, and the count goes to 0-1. This one is hit on. A nice little stop there by first baseman Lauren Olson, who steps on first, gets out number 2, tries to make the play at home, but Avery Buttercase, good base running to head home immediately on contact, gets a run across for the Cowgirls as they now trail at 19-3 here in Lamoni. Hale did get ground out there, though, as Olson stepped on first before making the throw home. Katie Glenn, the designated player, steps up to the plate. Glenn hitting for Cassandra Morgan, the right fielder tonight. As Glenn hits one directly back to the pitcher, McKillop. McKillop makes the play at first for out number 3, and that'll be the ball game as the run rule comes into effect. Lamoni wins it 19-3 here in Lamoni, and that's how Sidney's season will come to a close. In case you were kind of going to look at it, Lamoni started the game off scoring 4 runs there on the top in the first inning, 4 in the second inning, and then a 10-run 5th inning there to extend their lead 19-3, help them catch the win over Sidney, a postseason win for the Demons. Kaysen McKillop will get the win in the circle. She ended her night with 5 different strikeouts, allowing just 3 hits, and allowing just 3 runs as well. You've been listening to the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. Lamoni wins it. They'll be moving on to face Riverside in Riverside. That game will be going on Thursday here over in Riverside. You've been listening to the KMA Extreme at KMAland.com. For KMA Sports, I'm Tate Namey.